In 2001, Carol Lynn Prudhomme, 46, was found in her apartment with shopping bags over her head and knotted around her neck. Police would tell the family that she did it herself, but family would respond to say that she was claustrophobic, wouldn't even go into a bingo hall that was crowded with people, and she had pills. If she wanted to end her life, she would have used those. They also say that she was paranoid around the time that she died, sure something was going to happen to her. And they acknowledge that paranoia was part of the trauma response to abuse she suffered when she was young. And she'd been beaten by some women only a few days before she died. There were just a lot of questions that weren't answered. Regina police say that the case is closed, but could be reopened if new information was received. Her sister says she's not heard from police since Carol's death. 13 years earlier, another sister, Debbie Faye Pelletier, was murdered in the same city, and her death is still unsolved. The family does not have a lot of faith that they're going to get full answers into the deaths of their loved ones. Those answers might have come with a proposed class action lawsuit filed by Diane Big Eagle in 2018, but the action was not certified. And in 2023, the Federal Court of Appeal upheld the refusal to certify the class action. That action would have sued the federal government for inaction on the part of the RCMP for failures to investigate cases of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Although Carol's case was mentioned in the pleadings of the proposed action, it would not have applied to Carol's case, which is in the jurisdiction of the Regina Police Service, and the Regina Police Service is not within the control of the federal government, but rather the municipality of Regina. The issue with the pleadings was that the plaintiff did not allege sufficient material facts to support their claims. That is, they point to a number of reports, but they didn't spell out the facts in their pleadings. There were other issues as well that meant the case has so far failed. That's not to say that families shouldn't be very concerned. They shouldn't sue, or that the court is saying their pain and their loss means nothing. All that it means is that the right parties need to be named in the suits, material facts have to be spelled out, and there has to be breach of duty or other tort that happened. It's an interesting proposition. The RCMP did set up a compensation fund for victims, but access to that fund is rather limited. And another fund was set up after the children of victims of Robert Pickton sued the federal and the provincial governments to provide some compensation for 98 children. The idea really isn't new. We're not saying that the Regina Police Service neglected their duty in Carol's case. We don't have enough information to assess that. But we certainly understand why people believe that is the case for many police services across Canada when it comes to MMIWG cases. Report after report and inquiry after inquiry have demonstrated the problems. And we don't want to believe that lawsuits are the way to get the attention of governments who are ultimately responsible for their policing agencies, but it may be the only resort. We'll keep an eye on these cases as they make their way through courts and appellate courts and try to keep you up to date. In the meantime, though, Carol's family still waits for answers, and there are a lot of them, as I've said. If you have any information at all about Carol's passing, about her activity in the last few days before she passed, please come forward. It doesn't matter how old or small or insignificant you think the information might be. Please come forward and contact the Regina Police Service at the number you see on the screen. And thank you for listening.